I'm a high school student and time is something I don't have an abundance of during the day. But I was able to build a fully featured SaaS product in under 60 days. Here's how. There are 5 key takeaways I want you to have by the end of this video that help me achieve this, and they are as follows. Time management, workflows, right tools, sprints, and breaks. Each of these were crucial for me to actually have the ability to build my product. And I'll have a link to my startup in the description in case you want to check it out. But now starting with the first one, time management is probably the biggest thing on this list, but also the most difficult. I'm a massive procrastinator and this wasn't easy for me, and I'm definitely guilty of doom scrolling for far longer than I should have. But I think if you can be efficient and effective with your time about 75 to 80% of the time, you should be okay. No one can be perfect and stick to an exact routine with strict calendar blocking all the time. My main point with this one is to have somewhat of a rigid schedule so that you actually end up doing something, but also don't be so hard on yourself if you just miss one item on your to-do list for one day of the week. Next up, we have workflows. And this with the next 2 to 3 tips made the biggest difference for me. A workflow in its most basic sense is just a series of steps to achieving something. For me and most other developers out there, that's probably something like sitting at your desk, opening up your laptop or turning on your computer and starting the code. But one issue I think a lot of people have is too much friction. Think about it. If you were to set a goal of going to the gym 5 days a week, you wouldn't pick the one that's an hour away and only opens in the early mornings and you would just never go. But tons of people do that with building a SaaS. They think they have so many different things to do and overcomplicate each and every single one of them to the point where they just never end up even starting. Make sure to make your workflow simple and have as little friction as possible. Now we have a big one. Make sure you pick the right tools. I'm going to use software development as an example here because that's what my product was based on. You don't have to pick the shiniest new pieces of tech and the most complicated tech stack to make a startup work. In fact, that'll just make it worse because you'll have no idea what you're doing and just end up quitting. And going back to the last point, if you don't pick the right tools, you could have a lot of friction in your workflow just because you simply hate using the tool. This is why I suggest picking the tools that work, obviously, but also picking the ones that are easy and you're most comfortable with. In my case, that was using Firebase because it made authentication, deployment, and accessing a database super easy. Moving on, we have a principle called sprints. Sprints are a common practice in the software development world where teams will spend up to 2 weeks grinding away at a new feature. Usually this is during crunch time when there are tight deadlines and strict feature requirements. But in my case and anyone else out there who's a solo founder, it doesn't have to be this way. All I'm saying is to take the basic concept of a sprint. What I would do is over weekends, I would get up, get ready, do whatever, and sit down on my desk to code. Since I picked the right tools, it'd be really easy for me to start, and I could continue to code for a long time. Sometimes this would be 5, 6, sometimes maybe even 7 hours, and I'd get tons of work done on my startup. Then I could focus on school and other parts of my life for the next week until I'd go and do the same exact thing the next weekend. But don't push it. You don't want to get burned out. And this leads me into my next and final point, which is to take breaks. No human out there can consistently put in the same amount of effort doing the same exact things over and over and over again without burning out. We aren't machines. Make sure you have another hobby that you enjoy or another aspect of your life that you can go to while building your startup, or else you'll risk burning out and just quitting. If you don't, it'll take a serious toll on your mental health. And that's what my startup was actually focused on, mental health. I built a platform called Jotter, which is a journaling app where users can add and view journal entries and respond to prompts. Plus, it's completely free with no ads or subscriptions whatsoever. And before you think about it, no, I don't and won't ever sell any of your data. That stuff's private and stays private. So if you want to sign up for an account, click the link in the description and check it out. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it at least a little bit useful. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so you could hit that red button. That'd mean the world to me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.